right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this Nexus Series Division D West quarterfinal playoff series between Off-Brand Cereal and Planet Smashers. I am Cat Peach, and I am joined here today by the ever so great Tyro. Tyro, how you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, Cat Peach. I'm looking forward to the match here.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a tough one for Planet Smashers, being the eighth seed coming into the undefeated powerhouse that is Off-Brand Cereal, but you never know, there might be an upset. There's been a couple so far in Division D overall, so let's actually take a peek at the bracket as it's played out. Over on the East is where we saw Zul'jin Distillery with that upset against Lubu. On the side, though, of West, we saw a mildly interesting 2-0 Spicy Boys as well. So we've had a couple mix-ups, but here on top of the bracket, whoever wins the series will go on to play Lightly Salted in the semifinals for Division D West. Taking a look at our teams for tonight, Off-Brand Cereal, as we talked about, undefeated right now, 20-0 record with, I mean, every Battleground is kind of their best Battleground, Tyro, but in terms of how many they've won, I mean, it's a three-way tie between Cursed Hollow, Infernal Shrines, and Braxis Holdout. So the fact that they can run the big maps and those kind of cheesable strats on Braxis Holdout really speaks a lot about this team, I would say.
Absolutely. They've performed extremely well, and the fact that they haven't dropped a game or a series indicates, it's not by accident that they haven't dropped it. They are good.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at the most picked heroes, I think it's important to notice too, we have Jaina and Falstad there sitting at 25%, but there's also, that's tied as well with Genji, with Blaze, and we were kind of talking before the stream, Off-Brand Cereal just has such a wide variety of hero picks that they've pulled out. I think they've won on a game with Chen here as well, so for whatever that is worth, it's there. But let's take a look at their opponents. Planet Smasher sitting at a 10-8 so far this season. Also sitting undefeated on Braxis Holdout, although it be one game. Their picks most are pretty meta. We see the Urel, the Blaze, the Decker Kane, pretty high percentages there. So I'm wondering if the roster of Planet Smashers, is it easy to maybe take on a powerhouse like Off-Brand Cereal with a smaller hero pool, or do you think something like that is really possibly going to bite them in this series?
Honestly, if you're getting new to the game or trying to get better, which I'm going to assume this is the case because it is Division D, I suggest a smaller hero pool. And it's because you'll practice those particular heroes more and more and more, and you'll improve your mechanics. So as far as having the smaller hero pool, I really like that Planet Smashers does that, and I like the fact that they're following the meta.
Yeah, that is one thing you can always cinch on, is just say these heroes have proven to be really strong, so if they're comforts, and hopefully that will see them some success here in the quarterfinals. But let's take a look at the map pick and bans here. So we have a ban on Battlefield of Eternity and Dragonshire here tonight. First pick going over to the side of Planet Smashers, who are taking us to Tomb of the Spider Queen, which I would have to go and look at these teams' stats on this map in particular, but I feel like it's a map that can definitely tell us a lot about the style that these teams are going to be bringing tonight.
I agree, and I hope, they pick this map pretty quickly in the selection. I hope they've got a plan for it, not just some bland run-of-the-mill thing that they always run with everything, but a particular plan on how they intend to execute this game.
Yeah, and I think what you just mentioned there, just the snap pick, their bans and picks coming into this series from their captain was snap decision, no thoughts about it. So I feel like Planet Smashers have likely thought a lot about this series, given that it's going to be a pretty tough road if they want to secure a victory here, or even potentially take a map off their opponent, because right now no one's been able to do that. So they would be the first ones, which would be quite the statement, as this draft is just speeding through. We have the Junkrat and Johanna ban on the side of Off-Brand Cereal, and the Kerrigan and Genji banned out for Planet Smashers.
I wouldn't say there's too many surprises from the bans. I know that Planet Smashers does run the Junkrat, so that could very well just be a target ban. Yeah, that's incredibly fast banning. And I'm glad to see Kerrigan's, they're respecting the Kerrigan play. She is just unbelievably strong right now.
See the Asmodan pickup, who can get a lot of value on this map potentially. And yeah, I agree with you. The Kerrigan would have just been so silly to let through this draft whatsoever. I do, the Deckard, not so surprising. That was one of the more played heroes on the side of Planet Smashers, so making sure they lock in that support early now that the White Mane has been picked up by their opponents.
Noting both top tier supports already gone, already picked up. Curious to see what the strategy here is. ETC, that is not a tank you're seeing a whole lot. And a Muradin to follow up with.
Off lane, ETC, boys and girls, let's go. Probably possibly see some stage dive here with that, given that the Muradin was picked up alongside. It's interesting to pick those two together so early, I feel like. I feel like you could have picked up the Muradin and someone else, possibly get in that primary DPS, and then pick the ETC later on without that necessarily being banned on you. Go ahead.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I feel like this invites Tychus play, or Leoric play, or Lunara play, who's just going to eat those high health targets.
Yeah, or even something like Malthael, which we don't really see very often, but if you're gonna give a beefy frontline like that...
Yeah, you invite the Malthael play right onto yourselves. Let's see if Planet Smashers can recognize the opportunity.
Yeah, so they still need their primary warrior. They need some more damage, and I wonder if they're going to have Asmodan in that offlane role, but in order to really get those stacks, I imagine him being part of the main rotation. So we're going to see the Blaze pickup, followed by the Jaina as well, get in a lot of that Blizzard damage, get a bit more of that wave clear.
I like that they're sticking to their guns. They're going standard. They're picking up the extremely mid of the build. But I don't know if Blaze is going to be the right pickup into what could possibly be a Mosh ETC.
Yeah, I mean, Mosh is absolutely still on the table. And on the side of Deckard, there's not really a cleanse option there, if I recall.
The only thing that they've got going for them, and they are running solo tank Blaze.
Yikes! I mean, maybe not yikes. We've started to see it ever since the changes to Blaze and Yrel, them having more of a frontliney role, but it's a bit risky, I would say, but in favor of getting some more of that damage in, especially with having to kind of adjust to the double warrior on the side of Opera and Serial kind of halfway through this draft after the Asmodan was already picked up. I'm wondering if that Asmo pick would still be there had they known about the ETC Muradin.
That's a good question. The last thing I really want to see is Asmo played in the solo lane here. He really needs those stacks. And I'm convinced right now that it's going to be Malthael Falstead in the solo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if this is a off-lane ETC into a Malthael, like, Malthael's going to have, I think, a pretty good time in that lane, but I wouldn't be surprised to see that be adjusted with follow-up rotations, with that Falstad, with that global pressure to either help out that ETC or to take over a lane that he's in if the matchup isn't going so well. Or maybe ETC doesn't run the off lane here and just stays with the main rotation, which would be quite the interesting strategy going into this, I'd say, but you never
know. I like the strategy there. You have ETC, you have Muradin. ETC is basically a for sure stun. Muradin can easily land a stun once the person is already stunned. And then you have the Li Ming explosion.
The Li Ming explosion. It almost sounds like a band I would play for. But game number 1 kicking off here. So let's get to it. In the blue, we have off-brand Serial. We're going to see Cute Friend on the White Mane, Double J on ETC, Freezebug on the Muradin, Alicite is going to be on the Li Ming, and Falstad will be played by Mad Buddha.
And in red, we have Planet Smashers. Ziltoid on Malthael, Ravenx on Asmodan, Snowglare on Jaina, Bandringer on Deckard, and Boom Noslock on Blaze.
See Fingers of Frost picked up for Jaina, level 1, so keep an eye for Snow Glare, making a lot of rotations to really capitalize on picking up those globes. For the time being, top lane being ignored by the teams, just focusing on a lot of clear in the mid. Falstad and Malthael going at it in the bot lane, trying to get some there. Jaina finally making the rotation up to secure those last couple globes here, get a little bit of the experience before rotating back to the mid.
I do want to point something out there. Asmo did pop his lieutenant up there. They did not miss any of that soak.
Ooh-hoo-hoo. Good Asmo play coming out here from Planet Smashers. Oddly enough, it's a hero that they often ban out, so Ravenex being able to play that hero here, we'll see how much advantage they can get on Team of the Spider Queen. Gems are the name of the game, though, and right now, pretty tied up, still fairly early, but always got to keep an eye on those numbers to see when the defense of these turn-in points really comes into play. Boomna's taking a lot of damage, though, from Operant Serial. Uses the jet propulsion to escape. Should be fine for the time being. Malthael and Falstad, though, in the bot lane. Malthael taking a lot of damage from Mad Buddha, who is going to get first blood of this game, giving them a little bit of an XP boost.
Yep. That was a little bit of a surprise for me. I saw Malthael go in, and that low health, especially against a Falstad. Falstad's burst is just good, especially in the solo lane. His weakness is whenever heroes can actually get away from him. And Malthael is not the guy who's going to get away if he's moving in.
Yeah, and even if he's trying to escape, just having the barrel roll to kind of reinitiate, come back into range, always a threat when going against a Falstad. Being able to take advantage of that lack of escape from Malthael, absolutely well played there. Boomnas, though, jet propulsions yet again. The power slides coming out from Double J to kind of stun Blaze, allow for the damage to come out from the rest of the team, have been really impactful so far. And a couple times Blaze has had to back away from the fight just for fear of falling. And when you have 18 gems, it's the last thing you want to be doing, Tyro.
Absolutely. If anything, I've been really surprised by Boom. He's been able to not die despite the incredible kind of just blow up from this off-brand serial team.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see the late game blow up on there once Jaina kind of gets a lot more of that power spike and gets into her build a bit more. It's going to be pretty gnarly, I think, if she can land a lot of those blizzards and that follow-up damage onto someone like Li Ming or the White Mane. But right now, Boomna's getting a lot of damage. The power slide and the bump from Double J keeps him in range for just long enough for the kill to be achieved. Lots of gems lost there for Planet Smashers.
Yeah, the Falstad gank at the last second, throwing his hammer out, I think was just enough damage to finish off that Blaze. This is kind of what I worried about, though, with Blaze, is he is becoming more tanky, but I don't know if he's there yet. I don't know if he can solo tank quite yet.
Yeah, and I feel like outside, you have obviously the heals coming out from Deckard, which usually are great, but I feel like for Blaze, having someone else on the team who can additionally self-sustain so that maybe Deckard can only focus on one hero. Now, Blaze does have the sustain, but it's so far proving not to be enough as we see Blaze kind of struggling to be in that main tank role. Upright Serial, though.
Walking away with just 6 health.
Ziltoid! Gross strats. Right there. Webweavers, though, in favor of Operant Serial. They already have a 1-level advantage here in the series, working on those talents. See a lot of resources coming up to this top lane, trying to prep this lane possibly for a later boss call in the game. And we'll see how much they actually get out of this, because I feel like the wave clear on the side of Planet Smashers should be able to get rid of these Webweavers fairly quickly, so long as Boomnas doesn't step too far out and eat too much damage from the enemy team.
I agree. It's unfortunate that there's a double energy away from the spider immediately.
Ziltoid. Ziltoid. Again, trying to 1v1 the Falstad and bot. Not working out.
He needs to just be a little bit more patient. Once 10 rolls around and he collects those last rights, Falstad will die every time that there's a 1v1. But until then, he outright wins that fight, and Ziltoid needs to respect that.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like Malthael was trying to maybe capitalize on getting a bit of the healing from the Webweaver as well as from Falstad, but obviously, as we saw down there, not really working out too well in their favor. And we still, when Malthael fell as well, lost a lot of gems. So we don't even have a turn in yet for Planet Smashers, so they're still working toward that coveted Webweaver of their own.
I feel like this is a little bit foolish. Blaze needs to check those bushes. I mean, we had off-brand Serial see everybody rotate. That is a rough position to be in.
Yeah, trying to sneak up on your opponents, but they already have vision on you. Not really quite the sneak that you want. Bit of siege pressure going down here. Falstad, along with some siege giants, can't necessarily be ignored for too long. The gate's already fallen and the well on bot, so Falstad's actually just going to leave altogether. The siege giants should get enough pressure on that fort to possibly take it down here.
Alright, Planet Smashers needs to run now, because 10 is up for off-brand, and they can no longer win a fight.
I'm very surprised by the mosh pit, but I suppose we have seen ETC with the main rotation like we talked about, so the stage dive value possibly not there, given that we don't have the offlane ETC.
I'm actually digging the mosh pit quite a bit. The only interrupt whatsoever on the side of Planet Smashers is Deckard Sleep. No one else can interrupt that mosh.
Yeah, not only that, I feel like the Li Ming Disintegrate follow-up as well could play really well. We just have to make sure that ETC and Falstad aren't trying to overlap those heroics, as hopefully off-brand Serial, with their expertise, know to plan around that. I've definitely been in situations where the gust just briefly hits before the mosh pit does, and then it is a mosh of 0.
Feels bad.
Feels bad. Totally bad. This bottom fort still alive. Ziltoid trying to clean it up as best as he can, but I am sure this fort falls. Top fort just falling as well. It's that Webweaver starts to move in toward the keep gate. And the members of Planet Smashers, they finally have 10. They're waiting on the pickups. It's finally their chance to maybe be a bit more aggressive in this defense than they have been for the past couple seconds since this phase started.
Lornado coming out from the Deckard, not even going for the... I like that. You can push ETC out of the way with that.
Get a little bump to match the bump of ETC. Ziltoid just running into the members, though, of Opera and Serial there. Gets away for the time being. Dunk follow-up from the Asmodan. Chase is on. The last rights goes out onto Freezing Bug. They're still alive for now.
He forced out the Avatar. I like the play because Last Rites has a lower cooldown.
It does. You see people just throwing out the last rights left and right. The gust into the mosh, followed by the disintegrate, but Falstad ends up falling to Jaina on the backline. Malthael, though, going to give his life. Blaze going to fall as well, dropping 20-some odd gems in the process, and Asmodan is surely going to follow. 3 kills for 1 in favor of off-brand Serial. The Lornado used to force a disengagement for the time being, but off-brand Serial should be able to take this fort now if they want to. Just clean it up real fast.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was worried about, is you get a good gust into the mosh, and Li Ming is going to get resets. And once she gets resets, I mean, you know it. They're just dead.
Yeah. The laser beam hurts, it turns out. Also coming to help White Mane with this bottom siege pressure. 13, though, achieved on the side of Opera and Serial, too, so they have quite the window to kind of rotate around this map, try to get more of those gems to maybe follow up for a third Web Weaver phase in this game before their opponents even get there first. Although they're sitting at 90 gems, so if Opera and Serial wants to look for a fight and decrease that number, and they absolutely are, they're trying to invade on this Bruiser camp. The camp gets picked up, but they're going in onto Boom. The leap comes out from Freezebug. The bolt lands onto Boom as well. And Opera and Serial backing out, not getting the kill they want. Don't want to stick around too long. Possibly give a life to their opponents here.
Yeah, so I understand that they're up 2 levels, that they have a talent tier, but the last thing you want to do is engage into an Asmodan in that tight corridor where every dunk is going to be on 3 or 4 heroes.
Falstad able to take out the Jaina. The bunker comes out, trying to save Blaze. The Lornado there, trying to zone, but the Gust to disengage, but not before Falstad falls here. All while Planet Smashers finally got the turn-in for themselves, trying to get themselves to level 13. Ziltoid, though, in a bit of a pickle. Malthael going to fall. Boomnos in between 2 of the members of Opera and Citadel. The Disintegrate is there. The damage is there. Leaving on the chase. She doesn't get the reset from Blaze, though. Now their focus onto these Web Weavers.
You know, there's been a pretty significant lead here for off-brand the entire time, but something I noticed in that last fight is the Asmodunks are really starting to hurt. Just
Yeah, I mean,
massive chunks of health disappearing from blue team.
We're sitting at 338 stacks for Asmodan at this point, so well beyond the minimum 200 and really getting in there. The death onto Blaze, though, not ideal under the circumstances.
No, it's not what you want to see. But honestly, it's not the worst thing that could happen. It means that off-brand is in the wrong place, focusing the wrong things. And that's going to be that fort here. Unless Falstad pulls a miracle. Nope, he did not.
A bird and his man, not enough to stop the fort from falling here. The collapse, though, onto Ziltoid in the bottom lane doesn't look too great. Dunk's
That could
hitting.
be turning around, though. They need to get out of there quickly because here comes Planet Smashers and they can do damage.
Yeah, I feel like if Raven gets maybe one additional really good dunk, most of Opera and Serial won't be able to fight. But the Gust forced into a corner. Freezebug, though, taking a ton of damage. Banringer trying to get out. Decker Kane is going to fall. The Mosh keeps Planet Smashers around, and with the Disintegrate along with the Falstad damage, 3 more members of Planet Smashers fall here. Level 16 versus 14 for off-brand Serial, really showing their prowess here on Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Absolutely, and here comes another turn-in. Now, that all being said, Asmodan is 10 stacks away from having 400 Annihilation.
Double J waiting on the turn-in. It started the channel, canceled it for a bit.
They wanted to collect the bottom siege at the same time.
There we go. Get that started, get that additional bottom pressure. I was looking around the map, I was like, where could they have been waiting? Missed down there. This phase is gonna hurt, though. This is going to hurt a lot. Even with that quest being completed now for Asmodan, the lack of 16, much like with the last phase, they can't necessarily just all-in defend just because the threat of the power slide. The Mosh isn't up yet, but one good power slide with one good Disintegrate could leave Planet Smashers really hurting here, so they're going to have to be careful.
Absolutely, they have to worry about their positioning. They can't walk out to deal with these spiders. They have to let them come up to the gates and deal with them then. Because if they engage outside, I mean, you said it, ETC is going to punish them for it.
All action seems to be on this bottom lane. There's that power slide onto the Blaze, followed with the Disintegrate, and that is Blaze falling here. No front line available for Planet Smashers as this Web Weaver and the rest of Opera and Serial continue to assault this fort. The Gust came out from Falstad, pushing the members of Planet Smashers just ever so closer to Off-Brand Serial, and a full team white ends up being the result. And this fort falling fast here, Tyro.
Absolutely. We talked about it just seconds before Blaze walks out of the gate and gets killed by ETC. And this could be game. They're looking for blood, and I think they're going to find it.
Yeah, still a few seconds before anyone on the side of Planet Smashers is up. The damage is just so fast and so soon. Game number 1, Off-Brand Serial taking the map away from their opponents here in quite a stellar fashion, I must say.
Yeah, it was extremely clean play. They knew what they were doing, how they wanted to execute the map, and it just seems like Planet Smashers didn't really seem to be on the same page.
Yeah, I felt a lot with specifically the Malthael just trying to force the engagement a lot of times, either with the 1v1 with Falstad that we saw a lot, or even with a couple of the team fights. We just saw Malthael kind of trying to come up from a different angle and really just put themselves into the middle of Off-Brand Serial, and they just turned around and said, "You're right here. You put yourself here, man. Like we're gonna take you down fast."
Absolutely. What about those stats though? 18-2.
Yeah, it was quite the bloodbath for sure. Yeah, Mad Buddha on that Falstad had some really great gusts to kind of force a lot of those team fights and those mosh pit setups. So the follow up as well from Alisite on the Leeming, getting those resets. Just, it's a beautiful picture if you're an Off-Brand Serial fan for sure.
I concur. I feel like the MVP of this map is well deserved by Falstead.
Yeah, just the execution level, because usually we talk about MVP and it's like who did the most of X, and I think catching a lot of that positioning and setup is so hard to catch just in numbers, because even statistics wise, Falstad did a lot of siege, had a lot of hero damage, definitely wasn't the top of the stats, but just really there to support the rest of the team and make sure that that one was there. We are just figuring out map choice here for game number 2. Tyro, if you are Planet Smashers who are choosing map pick, what are some thoughts of what we might see here tonight?
Honestly, if I was Planet Smashers, I would run to hero pick. I would give up the map pick, give that over to Off-Brand, because they can play all the maps. There's not a particular map that they're going to pull out that's going to be some ultra special thing that they do. They're just going to pick a map. If I'm Planet Smashers, I want that first pick.
Yeah, it is very interesting in that regard. I wonder if there's really um a way to kind of like outsmart Off-Brand in either way, just because we also kind of saw a lot of their very versatile hero pool. Um, and so if you're Planet Smashers, you almost feel like it's a lose-lose situation no matter which one you're picking.
For the map, no, I mean you're gonna have good maps for yourself, and we'll just take Tomb. I'm sure that that's probably their strongest map. But that being said, there's priority picks, right? And there's bans. And so last game we saw Off-Brand Serial give the respect ban to the Junkrat and to the Joanna. What Planet Smashers needs to do is force Off-Brand Serial to give the bans to Asmodan and Kerrigan instead.
Well, we do have the map pick situated, so let's take a look at that. And reminder of the bans, we had Battlefield of Eternity and Dragonshire removed here, but for game number 2, Planet Smashers taking us to Volskaya Foundry. I'm not sure what my feelings are about that decision, offhand, to be honest. Let's see here. Planet Smashers, what is your experience? So Volskaya, they have a 50% win rate on the side of Planet Smashers. Their next best map, Dragonshire, was banned out, so that was never going to be a playable option.
I don't like their decision here, and I'm going to explain it in this way. Volskaya is a map where team coordination for prolonged team fights is super important. And last game, Off Brand proved that they just had mountains of that.
Yeah, agreed. I'm definitely a bit worried for Planet Smashers here. I'm assuming we might see something like the Asmodan come up again. I really just hope that they decide not to run a solo Blaze warrior here. Perhaps that was a bit of an experiment to run. Playoffs are not the time to run experiments, though, in my opinion.
No.
So if that was, or maybe it was something they had been kind of practicing and maybe felt okay with, but nothing about the way that was played made me think that Planet Smashers really understood how to use Blaze in that position. So I really hope we don't see that as a follow-up. All right. And then one thing to note as well, just for the audience, we do have Brightwing being banned out on Volskaya Foundry, so if you had any hopes of seeing the Fairy Dragon here in this playoff series, this game will not be it. Let's see. Just gotta get these hats all set up in lobby. We are almost there.
I'm curious if last game would have been any different had Planet Smashers drafted a bit more crowd control. Because all they had was the slow from Jaina and Deckard, root from Deckard. But the only real stun that they had was from what's it called? Blaze's E.
Jet propulsion.
Yeah, jet propulsion. That was the only stun they had, and it's a slowly developing skill shot stun that can be interrupted. I didn't really like the choice to do that, especially whenever you saw the ETC early. So maybe a little bit of a change here.
I would
Hopefully
welcome that
be in
change.
order.
Yeah. All right. This draft, a lot of drafts around Volskaya Foundry, really around protecting those beacons. I wonder if we see Off-Brand Serial pull out a Sergeant Hammer, or even maybe Planet Smashers, if they feel comfortable running that. Something tells me that Off-Brand Serial might be a bit more capable of running that style of protecting Hammer.
Off-Brand banning their own healer from last game.
Well, don't want that white main.
For the sake of a game 3, I would like to see Junkrat make it through the ban and to be picked up by Smashers, just because he is super strong on this map.
See the Johanna banned out yet again on the side of Off-Brand Serial. And yeah, like you were saying, I do like the Genji ban. He can just punish so well on this map in particular. He can also do a lot of side soaking while those beacon captures are happening and kind of zoom right in at the last second. Still seeing the carry ban coming out from Planet Smashers.
No surprise there at all. I'm curious to see here. I half expect Deckard to be taken by Off-Brand Serial here, just because he's so good on this map. He can drop so many potions down on your side of the beacon and make it so it's hard to kill your teammates.
One of these teams runs a lot of Rhaegar. First pick Artanis. Not something I was expecting here.
No. I almost feel like just shutting up and enjoying the ride.
What? I mean, to me, and I mean, this, I've only seen it actually run a couple times, but it's something I think runs brilliantly. This almost says to me that they're considering the Sergeant Hammer, just for getting the swaps into that range, just for a bit more damage there if anyone does try to escape. Maev, Alexstrasza pickups. Alexstrasza pretty strong on Volskaya. Maev is an interesting choice.
I really like what Planet Smashers is showing us. This is a heavily teamfight centric displacement team that is, if it's played well, it is so hard to beat.
See the Kharazim pickup, followed by a Zarya, so 2 off-tanks starting in the draft for off-brand cereal. I'm wondering what this is trying to illustrate, because with the Artanis and the Kharazim, I was kind of thinking, all right, you swap an opponent, have Kharazim and some other kind of dive assassin go into whoever was swapped and really finish there. The Zarya, I'm not sure necessarily plays into that, but it definitely doesn't not play into that, if that makes sense. Like, you have those shields, and in that situation, you can still build up a lot of energy there and contribute to that kind of pick.
Honestly, I do expect to see another dive hero from off-brand cereal, just because, and I'll give an example. I like playing Kerrigan, and I really like it whenever an ally is playing Zarya while I play Kerrigan, because those extra shields as I go in just make me invincible.
Mm-hmm.
So while Kerrigan is banned here, there's definitely opportunity for other dive heroes. Maybe we'll get to see something crazy like a Zeratul.
That would be interesting.
VP into Graviton, anybody?
We see the Blaze pickup again with a
Please
Kael'thas.
pick another tank. Please pick another tank.
Please, they have to. With a Maiev and a Kael'thas, you can't have Blaze be the only one on that front line. The Kael'thas, though, I like. Kel'Thuzad, though, in response, the Greymane pickup to round it all out. So there's that dive we were thinking about, and Kel'Thuzad on maps that force grouping get a lot of value.
I really dig the sudden explosion that off-brand cereal has here. I mean, you swap anyone, and you have the Kharazim dive. You've got the Greymane dive with all that burst.
What? KS?
Why?
What? So you pick a Medivh for scouting the opponents, giving some protection to the members of Planet Smashers. But you can only protect one hero at a time until I think later in the game where Medivh does pick up a talent that allows him to protect multiple. I think, or I might be making that up. I actually don't know Medivh all that well. But, which we were talking about before the game, level 3, baby. But Kel'Thuzad don't care. He says, I can damage all of you at once, so you can't protect into that.
I mean, Medivh can save that one person that Kel'Thuzad chains in and wants to just insta-kill. But I don't know if it's worth having the Medivh pick for that, especially when you're back on solo tank Blaze.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of question marks coming out from me, but Planet Smashers, this might be their last game of the tournament, so I'm hoping that they know exactly what they're doing. So let's find out. Game number 2, off-brand cereal trying to remain undefeated in this season. We're going to have Cute Friend on the Zarya. Double J is going to be on the Kharazim. Freezebug on Artanis. Mad Buddha is going to be on the Kel'Thuzad. And Alisite on the Greymane.
All right, in red and Planet Smashers, we have Ziltoid on Maiev, Ravenex on Medivh, Snowglare and Kel'Thas, Bandringer on Alexstrasza, and Feint to Parry on Blaze.
Ziltoid and Double J. Go ahead.
Wrong. Feint to Parry wasn't playing last game, was he?
Yeah, and I think they had a sub come in for game number 2, it looks like. Planet Smashers trying to get the roundabout onto Freezebug here. Clear a bit of that wave. Mad Buddha, though, coming in for a bit of the flank. Yeah, I'm still not excited about this main take Blaze, to be quite honest. There's just so much follow-up damage potential anytime Blaze attempts to engage with that Zarya, with that Greymane.
One thing I feel like they need to stop doing is stop trying to run the split soak. You do have the damage for it, but with how much damage that off-brand cereal can put out, it's so easy to get caught out. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Medivh there, almost dying.
Yeah, Medivh almost dying, which, I mean, you never want a hero to die, but that if there's a hero you really don't want to die, it is Medivh. Resetting those Master's Touch stacks. And Ravenex is actually playing with fire, kind of being alone and walking around the lane like this, I feel.
He's very low health.
Both teams focusing on some turret pressure for the inevitable beacon phase starting soon. Kharazim has been hanging out in the bot lane. Double J just getting that soak in. Punching those minions.
Not a whole lot happening right now. Pretty expectant. Just sit back, soak lanes, do what you gotta do.
Yeah, they keep getting the rotation up onto Freezebug. Artanis, not the hardest, not the easiest to kill, but it looks like Freezebug is going to go down, which gives Planet Smashers a little bit of time before this beacon to get a slight experience lead over their opponents. Maiev, though, oh, I missed that.
Dying solo to the... and she lost her turret. Maiev was carrying the turret for Planet Smashers.
Yikes. Feels terrible.
And now they're trying to take the support camp here. They're gonna get it. It doesn't look like Planet Smashers are going to contest that.
It looked like the portal was there just maybe for a fake out, but all items in favor of off-brand cereal. Camp being grabbed in the top.
A little bit of late grab here from Planet Smashers.
Yeah, at the very least, they do have at least some counter pressure to that top wave, so it's not free experience for off-brand cereal. I don't know how Planet Smashers gets onto this beacon, though, safely.
Oh, it's gonna be really rough because you have Blaze, who really has to go in alone. He has to get in there and get past the front line, which, with Zarya, with Artanis, I don't know how he's gonna do it.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. And you see Feint to Parry trying to spin around and making happen. He does get the stun onto Double J. The chain there, though, roots too on Planet Smashers. The support camp doing a bit of healing along with the healing totem coming out from Kharazim. Ziltoid ends up getting swapped. Maiev gets protected, should be able to get out of here. The chain onto Banringer, though. Joins them together. Ziltoid barely getting out of there. But this protector going over to off-brand cereal here.
You know, I don't like saying it, but I don't think this was really a surprise. We always knew that off-brand was going to win the early game. They just have that crazy strong value in the Zarya and in the Artanis. And you need Medivh to get worked up. You've got to get those stacks up to that 40 mark. And he's not there.
Yeah, he's at least over halfway done, sitting at 24 at the time being. But until then, Medivh, like you were saying, has to play extraordinarily safe here. Which means that early game, off-brand cereal are probably just going to have their way. So we see not quite the commitment to any real tough engagements on the side of Planet Smashers, which I like. Protector almost done here. Finally falls. And the
Note of importance for the viewers here, they did grab that top well. In the map Volskaya Foundry, the second objective always spawns top. So if you're able to get the top well, you almost guarantee a victory in the second Punisher as well. Or Protector, whatever it's called.
Ziltoid showing on the bot lane. Starting to see the rotation come out from off-brand cereal, who might have assumed that they were going to go the opposite way. The bullet coming out from Alisite. And they're stealing this fortification camp away from Planet Smashers in quite the domination move, I would say. If there's something that says, like, I'm the alpha team here, I think it's a move like that.
Absolutely. Grabbing that camp super fast, going for their own fort camp. Planet Smashers knows where they are. They should have taken the support camp during that time, or they should have killed Artanis. I don't know what they're doing. They seem almost lost.
Yeah, it's like they're always simply responding and a bit too late to anything that their opponents are doing. They try to get the kill onto Freezebug, but like you mentioned, the rotation a bit too late, and kind of the way they went about it put Freezebug in a really good position to swap an opponent, put him closer to his own gate, and just walk away from the situation. So Planet Smashers just need to be faster on these decisions.
There's tins for off-brand. This is going to be an easy support camp now. And honestly, while Planet Smashers will get 10 here, I don't think they can compete with off-brand going into this next objective. They have no well, they're about to have no fort, and they're going to be up against 3 items.
Yeah, this is slowly starting to snowball in favor of off-brand Serial for sure, and there's just nothing that Planet Smashers have been able to do thus far. Now that Heroics are here, they have a bit more of an opportunity. 36 stacks sitting right now for Medivh as well, so getting very close to finishing that quest. And once that's complete, perhaps they can come in, pull the turnaround, and get back into this game.
Hopefully. So far, it's been very one-sided. It's something you almost don't want to see as a caster. You know, you want the games to be a little bit longer, drawn out, be a bit more competitive, and right now it's just not.
Parry takes the chain, walks away. Lisa's able to bait out that cooldown from Kel'Thuzad. But this beacon up in top, like you mentioned, no well to tap for the side of Planet Smasher. So once they start this fight, they have to finish it. The Graviton Surge coming out, capturing too. The bunker is there for Blaze at the very least, but the damage coming out. Kel'Thuzad is going to fall, but Kael'thas is also going to trade. Kerosene going to fall in the process. Ziltoid going to be the next to die in this skirmish. Cute Friend taking a lot of damage, but building up that energy. But Alicite, very low, trying to get out. Ravenex, though. Ravenex finally has finished the Master's Quest touch, so if he dies, it's not the end of the world, but 4-2 in favor of Off-Brand here. And what a turnaround, and what a back and forth that entire fight actually was.
Honestly, with the engagement that happened, I almost expected Planet Smashers to win that one. Both Karazim and, was it Artanis or Grayman died instantly. I mean, just super fast, they were gone.
Yeah, and this is kind of like the, outside of the first pick on Artanis, the first time we've seen any kills in favor of Planet Smashers for quite some time. Now, the bad news is that there's 3 heroics still on cooldown here, while there are 2 major ones still around. Polymorph does go out. Freezebug with the swap onto Ravenex. Dragon Queen is popped. Overtime now started. Phoenix going out, try to zone. Freezebug taking a lot of damage from that Dragon Queen. Kael'thas going to fall to Greymane though on the backside. The Purification Beam coming out and just deleting people from the map. Cute Friend doing the last bit of damage onto that bunker. Feint to parry, uses the portal to get out, but Mad Buddha is there waiting, and that is going to be a team wipe. Planet Smashers getting smashed here, Tyro.
Yeah, that fight was about the best engagement they could have ever taken. Dragon was up, they got some good ultimates. The Graviton was wasted, and still comes out with a team wipe and a protector for Off-Brand Serial.
Definitely a rough fight, and one that they were definitely saying, you know, that yelled to me that they were thinking if they lose this protector, they fear of losing the game. And we saw just how ready Off-Brand Serial was to end the game as soon as possible on Tomb of the Spider Queen. So if you have a protector that gets them that keep, game might end right after that. Bandringer falling to that damage from Zarya. Keep stays alive for the time being, which is a small victory if you are Planet Smashers here. You will lose your mid fort though.
Yeah. Honestly, there seems, to me, it feels like there's a little bit of discord within the team of Planet Smashers. Like, they're not on the same page. Either they're arguing or they don't understand what it is that they're supposed to be doing, and it's showing in the fights.
Oh, the Graviton Surge doesn't keep Blaze in, uses the bunker, passes on the other side. Feint to parry has been pretty snap into those bunkers when the Kravenhan does go out. So props to them for having that kind of reaction speed to proc that, and when Zarya thinks they might be able to get the kill on Blaze, bunker's always there, baby.
Yeah, that is definitely a highlight to this Planet Smashers team. I do like Feint to parry's Blaze play. It is absolutely wonderful. We haven't seen the same domination of the Blaze here that we did last game.
Yeah, for sure. Siege Camp taking away the steal from Off-Brand Serial. The multiple shields coming out, really fueling up that energy for Zarya. And this gives a nice push to start looking at this top keep again that they couldn't get down with the Protector. So surely, the way that this damage is chugging, this keep falls.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I expect this keep to go down. Here's the big fight. Planet Smashers has decided to take everything on this one go. People are dying left and right. Only Maev and Blaze down for Planet Smashers, 3 down for the side of Off-Brand Serial. Greymane barely getting away from the Alex shot.
Banringer going through the portal, trying to get a couple hits onto Freezebug. Snowglare going really deep in, though. Alisite coming around the backside, potentially thinking about getting back into this fight. Freezebug takes the Living Bomb, takes a lot of the damage. The shields are still a little bit there. This just looks like a little bit of a goose chase. Oh, I was like, it's only shields in that health bar, no actual health.
Yeah, I don't know why he turned back into that. He could have easily gotten away if he'd have run. But I guess there was some objective. They were maybe hoping the keep would fall or something. I don't really know. I don't think there were any minions left alive there, so just a little bit of a stagger death, a little bit of a misstep, but I don't think it's going to cost him too much.
Yeah, I was curious with the Greymane kind of rotating below the fight action if maybe there were thoughts of kind of a dive onto one of the chasers, but I think there were just so many with the 3-man that Greymane wasn't willing to risk the re-engagement there and possibly falling himself.
Yeah, he was down to like 200 health. Just a single ability combo would have taken care of him.
Control point C spawning in the bot lane in about 15 seconds here. Some last minute wave cleanup for Planet Smashers before they start making the rotation down. The members of Opera and Serial kind of keeping an eye on them on the same time. Ziltoid trying to tether Mad Buddha, not being able to succeed in that endeavor. And the rotation is on. Who gets here first? Who wins this out? We're looking at a 2-level lead for Off-Brand Serial. And given how these beacon fights have gone so far in this match, I don't want to say it's a safe bet, but it's a likely bet that we see another Protector in their favor.
I agree. This is a good timing for Planet Smashers to fight, though. There is a 2-level lead, but they are on the same talent tier, and if they are to win this one, it will completely flip, and they will be caught up.
Polymorph goes out onto Greymane, doesn't spread to anyone. Bunker's out already. The Phoenix there overlapped with the Warden's Cage. Purify being going on to Ziltoid. Hard, though. Maev going to be the first death here. However, Operant Serial, a lot of members being low. Double J trades out for Karazim. Artanis should be falling as here as he's body blocked by the Dragon Queen, but the Dragon falls as well. And all of a sudden, what looked like could have been a couple more deaths of Off-Brand Serial turn into them taking 4 lives from their opponent, getting this Protector, getting top keep as well, by the way. That top siege camp that they were able to grab before the beacon, finishing that off. And this is such a rosy picture if you're Off-Brand Serial right now, Tyro.
Oh yeah, this is going to be another keep, if not the game. Only 20 seconds left on the respawn timers, so Planet Smashers will get one more shot at defending this at least. But I almost expect Off-Brand Serial just to take the keep, back up, go take the other keep, and say, we're going to take the next Punisher, you can't stop us because of core pressure, and then we're going to win the game.
Now this fort should fall momentarily, and that Protector is still very healthy afterwards. Mad Buddha just waiting for the opportunity to land the Kel'Thuzad combo. Punisher's actually going to retreat for the time being as Artanis and Karazim return to the battleground. You might see this Protector go mid and just try to get all 3 keeps down. Just in case this doesn't end here. You get a lot of catapult pressure for the next couple minutes.
I don't really like them taking the long way around, though. Protector is down to 10 seconds now. You're going to maybe have enough to get about half the wall. You're not going to get the whole thing.
Getting a tower down. Whole wall down,
whole
at
wall.
the very least. Not willing to keep pushing. They're going to focus on possibly grabbing a few more items. Their eyes seem to be on the support camp, which is a great call, just being able to not assume that you'll win before the next tribute or the next beacon spawns, and really just playing it as if you never know when this is going to end. So always be prepared for several minutes in advance. The combo coming out from Kel'Thuzad, trying to get the kill onto Snowglare isn't there, but Artanis using the Purify Beam. Alisite ended up trying to get in for the dive as well. Kel'Thuzad still walks away.
Yeah, that was actually a little bit of a cost. I'm surprised Purifier Beam went out after Kalthos popped his shield. Now, you know, 20 is in your favor, but suddenly Planet Smashers can take this fight because there's no beam. They don't have to worry about someone standing around and dying. Here's the ultimate. Yeah, this is a great fight for Planet Smashers. That is a dead Greymane.
Greymane trying to run Ziltoid with the Fan of Knives, being able to finish off the dog. They're going to have to respond to that catapult pressure on top, though. Feint to parry going for that. But yeah, that was the first, I think the first team fight that actually went in Planet Smasher's favor this entire game. Which is giving them a little bit time to catch up structurally. They really haven't been able to do much at all against their opponents, so at least they have a window to make that happen, possibly get this kill onto Kel'Thuzad.
This Kel'Thuzad Artanis, they should have not been there. I don't know what was going on. But honestly, looks like the chain was just a little bit low, but suddenly all those items they had collected, they had gotten so far ahead and they don't have any.
No items to their name for the time being. Doesn't mean they can't turn a fight around and steal those from their opponents like they did earlier in this game before the first beacon here. Planet Smashers, though, kind of roaming around thinking what it is that they can be doing here. It is a bit of a tough situation not wanting to push necessarily so far in and risk giving a free kill to your opponents. There's no camps to be had. Everything was taken by off-brand Serial. Steve taking a bit of damage there.
This is a good map to where you can catch up in just one objective. We're looking at a 20-minute Protector here. Its health bar is almost certainly just going to be a single bar of red.
Yeah, the longer that this plays out, Planet Smashers, they're still in this. The catapult pressure will build up if they're not keeping an eye on it. So they have to win this next engagement, or this is it for them. So they have to be careful in how they approach this, but they've shown that they can take a fight if they need to. But are these the right circumstances are going to be the question.
I think we're about to find out here. It doesn't look like they're willing to back up and just go defend. And it's the right call. If off-brand gets this Protector, that's game. You just walk right into the core and win the game. So they need to hurry up and go on this.
Yeah, they need to hurry up. Jet Propulsion does go out. The Phoenix is there. Maiev, though, with the Warden's Cage, keeping everyone in. The Purifier Beam going on to Ziltoid, who is trying to get as much damage out onto Double J as possible. Ends up falling. 3 members end up make it 4 fall for Planet Smashers. 1 Dragon Queen left here. And this Protector, yet again, in favor of the Serial team themselves. Catapult pressure already making its way downtown to this core. This is surely game.
Oh yeah, this has been a long time coming. Honestly, the Protector might not even make it. 2 more catapults coming in from top. It was a good game. It was a fine last stand, but that's what it was. It was the last stand.
Yeah, very end, 10% here, and before the Protector even gets there, Mad Buddha finishing off the core. Continuing the undefeated streak here for Off-Brand Cereal as they advance in the Division D West semifinals starting this coming week. Let's take a look at these stats in this game. 23 kills to 16, so at least we saw a bit more aggression coming out from Planet Smashers through all that, but still not enough to bring us to a game 3 here.
Yeah, I feel like Planet Smashers played far better in the second game than what they did in the first game. They made it competitive, and I am grateful for that.
Yeah, at the very least, that's all we ask is put in your best effort, even when the odds are definitely partially stacked against your favor. And let's see just the final map count here for this game as we wait to interview someone on the side of Off-Brand Cereal. Let me send them a message. But yeah, the main tank Blaze doing a little bit better in that turnaround. I wonder if maybe had we not seen that run again, and not had someone like a Medivh that was so focused on late game, if that would have gone a bit better for Planet Smashers. But for now, Off-Brand Cereal has their captain in lobby. I'm going to pull them in here real fast. Hello, congrats, man. How you doing?
Tired. I guess we're done. Yeah.
You guess you won. Someone told you that you won, and I guess it happened.
We just kind of did the thing. We won.
How are you feeling going up into this matchup today? I know you were up against the 8th seed, and I'm wondering, what has the week looked like as you were coming into this match for this matchup?
What does the week look like? I guess no games. We haven't played NGS games, so we haven't done too much practice this last week, if that's what you're asking. But I mean, in terms of this game, though, we've scrimmed Planet Smashers quite a bit. We obviously played them in the last round before this, so we're on pretty good terms, I think, with them. We've played with them quite a bit, so I mean, we weren't too worried, I guess, coming into it.
Gotcha. I was actually very curious about the draft coming in for game number 2 specifically. You had like Artanis and Karazim and Zarya and just a bunch of like not fully meta picks. What were comms like? What were you talking about when you were putting that draft together?
So let's see. Our Zarya player was like, "Yeah, I want to play Zarya." And so then we picked Zarya, and then the shot caller's like, "Yeah, well, let's just pick some other random stuff." And that was basically how the draft went.
So very relaxed on your end, it sounds like, for this whole series. Not too stressed or overthinking things.
No, we're just here to have fun. So,
Tyro, I'll hand it off to you.
Yeah, so I was actually second game. You guys stayed a long time in a lot of fights. What was going on there? Was it just almost like a brawl game, ARAM?
So let's see. So a few of those fights were just awful calls that never should have happened. Where we're like, yeah, let's do this 2v4 for some reason. Like, we knew they were bad calls, and we definitely should have done them. But people were just like, yeah, I'm going to do this anyways for the style points. Which was really dumb, but...
Did it work out? Well,
it never worked out. It never worked out. I mean, we did end up getting the game, but a lot of those fights were definitely not the right call. So
I did dig the Greymane play, actually topping out damage on both Hero and Siege is very impressive.
Thank you. And that character's pretty fun, and it was pretty decent going into the KT. There were a few fights where I was able to just get on him, and there wasn't too much they could do about it. Yeah. So it was a pretty solid pick. I mean, we had a really go-in comp, so getting onto their back line wasn't too tough with the Artanis plus Karazim plus Greymane, so we were able to get on their back line and I think all the picks worked out well together, even if the draft was a bit wonky at first.
Speaking of a little bit of a wonky draft, you guys played into Solo Tank Blaze twice in a row. How are you feeling about that?
I mean, we all think Blaze is a solo tank, despite what everyone else thinks. So, I mean, I think that's actually a legit pick. Or I guess he is a main tank. There we go. We do think he's a main tank, despite what everyone else thinks. In terms of solo tank, I mean, I think their comps were fine. They most of the time they were playing like, or at least in the second game, they were playing off support plus support.
Yeah.
Solo tank. So it was really fine. I mean, we were like, I think all their comps were really legit in what they were playing. So
Okay. Now, Cat Peach, correct me if I'm wrong, but off-brand cereal now goes on to play Lightly Salted.
That is very correct. So we don't know when that's going to be because obviously y'all haven't scheduled the match yet. But initial thoughts on that matchup?
So I think we played them also in the last week of the Swiss rounds. So I mean, if we get our way, it'll go just like last time and be a 2-0.
Very confident going into it. Well, congratulations. You definitely deserve it being undefeated this season. And before we let you go, Alisite, we will give the floor to you for shoutouts.
Shout out to my team and shout out to our feeding shot caller, Mad Buddha, and his 35k hero damage in that last game. Less than their Blaze.
Kel'Thuzad, underpowered, is what you're saying.
Yep.
All right, man. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, sounds good. Thanks.
Have a good night. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps it up for us tonight. And officially now, the Division D West quarterfinals and also the East quarterfinals have concluded. Throw up the bracket one more time. So as we were just talking about, Lightly Salted will go up against Off-Brand Cereal in their next matchup, and we'll have Longhorn Gaming taking on Mildly Interesting in the other matchup. So keep an eye out for those this week. They will surely be grand games to catch. But for now, that's it for us. We're going to raid someone over after the stream is done, so make sure to stick around for that. But before we go, Tyro, thank you so much for joining me. It's always been a blast. Hopefully we can get some more Division D playoffs in before the season wraps up. If people want to find you, where can they find you?
Find me on Discord. I am in the NGS channel. Find me on Heroes. I am in the NGS channel in Heroes. I would love to play some games with some random people.
Let's do it. So we're gonna host over Cold Cake, who actually might be doing I don't know if she's just doing, or it looks like she actually went offline. Womp womp. Stream end. I'll find someone else. We'll host someone. Faye's going. We'll host it over to Faye. Let's do that. All right, but yeah, get some games with Tyro. He's a smart lad, so I'm sure he can teach y'all some things in the process of playing with him. And as for us, that wraps it up. So thanks again, everyone, for coming out, supporting these teams, and supporting NGS. And we will hopefully see you later this week. So thanks again. Have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks.